What's up, Falcons Nation? It's your boy Jew coming at you with another Atlanta Falcons video. As always, Falcons Nation, rise up. In today's video, I'd like to give you guys some Atlanta Falcons news. But if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll know when I've done Atlanta Falcons content. Hit that like button for your boy. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys for your continued support. But with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So in today's video on Atlanta Falcons news, the Atlanta Falcons have signed linebacker Frank Ganda. He actually played this past season in the USFL, and he was the Defensive Player of the Year in the USFL. Frank Ganda goes about 6'1", 225 pounds to 230 pounds, and he is a very good linebacker. I do like this signing by our Atlanta Falcons. I do think that he has a chance to possibly come in and compete with the current linebacker room that we have. Frank Ganda is one of those guys that's very instinctual. That's the first thing that I noticed when I looked at his highlights and his tapes and things of that nature. He looks like one of those linebackers that understands how to fill gaps in the run game. He's a guy that's fearless. He made a ton of tackles in the USFL, about 115 tackles last season in the USFL. And he's one of those guys that flies around to the football. And the way that our defensive line is set up this season, with us having those big bodies up front, Frank Ganda would be one of those guys that would be perfect for this defense as far as being able to run sideline to sideline. He was a very good linebacker in coverage. A guy that, like I said, is pretty fast for a linebacker. But the main thing that I noticed was his instincts. He's a guy that understands how to read the quarterback's eyes. He understands where the football is at all times. He forced fumbles in the USFL, forced 2 fumbles last year, had about 3 interceptions. And he's just one of those guys, like I said, that was a leader of that defense on his team. And one of those guys that was one of the best defenders in the USFL. And I believe because we have a lot of young linebackers on this team, we have the Troy Andersons, Caden Ellis, Michael Walker, Mike Jones, and a list of other young guys that we have on this team. I do feel like there's still opportunity at that linebacker room. And I like what our Atlanta Falcons is doing, as I continue to say, with Terry Fontenot and this front office. They're leaving no stone unturned. They're looking for talent anywhere that they can find it. And this Frank Ganda pickup kind of puts me in the mind of D. Alford, because D. Alford was one of those guys, that wasn't in the NFL as well. He was playing in the Canadian League, and they went out and found him. I think this is another gem in Frank Ganda. I really think that this guy has a chance to be a special linebacker in the NFL. I'm not too sure because they're bringing him in, late in training camp, because we're already playing the preseason games. I'm not too sure of how fast he can pick up this defense and possibly, make the 53-man roster. But I definitely think that he has a chance, if all else fails, to be a guy that you can put on the practice squad until he's able to pick up the playbook. But he is one of those guys, like I said, has great instincts, and that's something that you really need as a linebacker, is you have to be around the football. And he was the guy that was creating chaos around the football in the USFL. He was a playmaker. And I feel like this Atlanta Falcons team, even though we have Troy Anderson, even though we have Caden Ellis, I do think that a guy in Frank Ganda could be a guy that will be a good rotational linebacker and could add depth to this Atlanta Falcons team. So if he does end up making the roster, I definitely think that he could be an immediate special teams guy, a guy that can run down on special teams and make tackles, and run down on punt returns and make tackles and things of that nature. But as far as him being like a starting linebacker for this Atlanta Falcons team, I really think it's a long shot for him to actually make the team and be a starter, because we are really deep at this point in training camp. And he hasn't been here to learn the playbook and things of that nature. But I still think that there's an opportunity, because he has the talent to be a guy that we can develop if they decide to, if he does make the 53-man roster. I really think that he has a lot of talent. And like I said, he's one of those linebackers that'll go downhill, fearless, a guy that's a very good tackler. And I really think that you can never have enough great players on your team. As I keep preaching depth, strength in numbers. You never know when a player may go down with an injury. So you want to have as many good football players on your 53-man roster as possible, and also on your practice squad. But with that being said, this been your boy Jew. You guys let me know what you think of Frank Ganda. Like I said, I think this is a very sneaky pickup by our Atlanta Falcons. But Terry Fontenot is at it again, going out there finding gems to continue to add to this roster. But as always, Falcons Nation, rise up. I have a lot more content coming for you guys. Be blessed. Peace.